Welcome in to the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up. The line's wrapped around the stadium. Different strengths. Mm-hmm. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
But a lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to. See, look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
Definitely come back.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome in to a Wednesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet, live here on this Wednesday. As always, if you don't mind, hit that like button, share button, comment button. Daily, we're brought to you by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Go Chevrolet, of course, with a lot out in Laplace if you're looking for brand new cars. And they got a couple of dealerships up in Tennessee where you can shop the inventory online daily. Our phone line is brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Jacques Doucet will be in studio with us just like he is every Wednesday, so look forward to catching up with Jacques. We start the show with one of our partners going through a medical procedure this morning. Our thoughts are with our guy from GoMart, Tom Granning, as he is in the hospital, I think, right now.
Yes, right now in Jackson, getting ready for surgery. And here he is in our chat, watching along with us as usual. Sweet Tom. Good luck today, Tom.
We appreciate
Absolutely,
you, Tom.
Tommy.
We're
thinking about you. We got you, bro, and everything's going to be all good. So think about Tom. If you got a minute, just say a quick prayer for him as he's heading into surgery this morning.
And he popped in yesterday. We got to hug his neck.
He did. It was good to see Tom, who has
a
always
Mississippi
been
thing.
so great. He's been always, since day one.
Day one.
A day one supporter, and we are really grateful to Tom and everybody over at GoMart. So we got Jacques coming up today, as we will talk to Jacques about the latest, what's going on. Opening weekend for softball this weekend, and one of the great entertaining aspects here in Baton Rouge. If you're looking to get out, it's a great place for the kids, man, as they open up this weekend. Versus they got New Mexico, Oregon State, and Nichols in town as the Tigers are number 20 in the preseason.
That's
as
great.
they will take the field for the first time at Tiger Park. And like I said, it's awesome out there. I mean, it is a great spot to go check out some really good athletes, and it's great entertainment. And it's a great place for the family. They got 3 preseason all conference players with Sierra Briggs, Allie Componen, and Taylor Pleasance on the All-SEC preseason team. So Tiger's going to be pretty good going into it with Coach Torina this year. So if you got some time, if you're looking for something to do this weekend, go check out Tiger Park as they get going. First game, 6 o'clock on Friday as they'll take on New Mexico. And I believe we're just about 8 days away from LSU baseball's first
8 days.
Opening pitch as the
wild,
preseason
right?
number 1 team in the country. LSU is getting set to take the field, and let's go see if all this hype is worth it. I suspect that it is, and we'll talk more about the LSU baseball team with Jacques coming up here at 8 o'clock. If you got a question, if you got a comment, if you want to get involved, you can. Remember, today is our mailbag segment, so you can text into the show. You can call into the show. The phone number is 225-229-7741. 225-229-7741 is the phone number, and you can text into there, and you can also get into the comments. Yeah, and you can also put your questions into the comments as well. Last night, big story from a national standpoint. LSU basketball is playing tonight. We'll get some more basketball news as some local news here as LSU is at Mississippi State tonight.
Mississippi State.
That'll be
That's how they say it, Stewie.
8 o'clock Central.
I've been down there.
Tip
Those
off.
parts.
Today.
Mississippi
I'm
State.
too Mississippi
Here at
today.
State, we do everything right now.
Start-
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State favored by 10
Yeah.
in this one.
Yeah.
LSU 1-9 in the league, and has lost 10 straight going into the hump tonight.
But
So
they've been improving, I feel like, over the
yeah, a
past
little
few
better.
weeks. Mississippi State has won the last 3 games, but LSU has been improving. So, I'm just
we'll
saying.
see. We'll see.
Yeah, Katie.
I mean, it's a fair matchup, is my
Yeah.
point.
Nah.
Make us feel good about it, Katie.
I am. It's my
Big
job.
basketball story last night was LeBron James becoming the
Yes.
all-time scoring leader in the NBA. Look, I know that there are polarizing feelings on LeBron James, and I know that everybody may not be down with James in following him. But one thing that we can all agree on is that he is a revolutionary basketball player. And last night, he stamped his name further, deeper into the stat book, the career accolades, and to the discussion of being the greatest of all time. He becomes first all time in points scored in NBA history. He did that in front of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who had held that record since the early 80s. LeBron needed 36 last night to get the scoring record. He finished with 38 on the night.
Let me tell you about the number 38
Yes.
from last night, because this is so weird, y'all. Okay, he's 38 years old, right?
Mm-hmm.
His career point total is now 38,388. He broke Kareem's record, which held for 38 years until last night, and he finished with 38 points.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Night of 38s.
Yeah.
Bet 38.
Crazy, right? And I mean, you can waste all the time on MJ LeBron debates that you want to, but he doesn't come close to LeBron's stats. He just doesn't. I mean, that's just the facts right now, right? And no active player is within 10,000 points of James.
Well, he also didn't play 21 years.
No,
And he didn't come out of high school.
just saying.
I mean, there's a lot of back and forth.
Statistically, he
Look,
dominates.
it's a conversation that'll go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's a
It
debate that will go on forever. It is an argument. It's like LeBron said last night on TNT. It's great barbershop discussion. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it will be talked about forever. And I don't see LeBron stopping anytime soon.
No.
I mean, he's got a Tom Brady feel to him in his late 30s where he's playing as good and as dominant as he's been, and there's no reason to give it up.
There's not. He'll clip 40,000 points.
How much do you think this photographer got for this picture?
How much what?
How much do you think this photographer
Oh,
got
wow,
for this
yeah.
picture?
You were right about the shot too, Jordy.
Fade away.
I said a
Fade,
dunk.
yeah.
You said a fadeaway. You were right.
I mean, it's kind of like a LeBron image. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah.
something that you can see him jumping off that back foot, putting his shoulder in the defender, creating space, and I mean, he was pretty well defended.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't like it was. He earned it.
I think my
And
man down low thinks he's getting the
Yeah.
ball in the low post. It's over,
spin
buddy.
in and get a rebound, buddy. Get ready for a rebound, or
But
just
I
catch
mean-
that ball.
You knew it at the start of the game, I feel like. I mean, he was on fire.
Yeah,
last night.
he started
I mean,
on one.
Yeah.
last
He
night.
really did.
Well, I mean, the way he walked into the building.
Yeah,
Did you
he
see him
was
in the
ready.
all
The
black?
all black. And
He
he
knew.
said
Black shades.
had a pin on that says "Stay present."
Yep.
I mean, it was
He
like,
knew it was
oh
the night.
shit, it's happening.
Yeah.
This is about to happen.
And I love how he ended his speech with the F word. It was funny and sweet, and I hope they don't get fined for it.
They're definitely getting fined.
LeBron ain't paying
I
it.
think they should let it
He's just not
slide.
going to pay it. But LeBron James last night becomes the all-time leading scorer in NBA history. And I'll say this about LeBron. And like I said, I know that everybody's not down with him personally, but one thing that I think we can all agree on LeBron is that he is a generational, hyped-up athlete that exceeded the hype. I mean, I think of two athletes over the last 25 years that have come in with more hype, more pressure, more expectation of producing than Tiger Woods and LeBron James. And both of those guys have exceeded what we thought they were going to be, which is crazy. I mean, if you were around when LeBron came out, by the way, I thought Nike's commercial, as soon as LeBron hit hit the game-winning or the points to become the all-time leading scorer. The ode to LeBron was fantastic, kind of going back to his opening night. And I still remember watching in my college house in South Downs neighborhood in Baton Rouge, LeBron James make his NBA debut in 2003. I remember actually being in Chicago the summer working an internship the night he was drafted.
Really?
In the summer draft, because they used to do the pre-draft workouts, and I think they probably still do, but they used to do the NBA Combine in Chicago at Moody Bible College Institute. It was like this small, but I mean, like you would go in there and it was kind of like a rec center that had 6 basketball courts, and it was like all of these NBA guys. And they sent me on assignment just to go over there and get some sound from the Chicago Bulls general manager, because the Bulls they had like a bunch of draft picks or something, and they wanted to know. But Cleveland obviously had the number 1 pick, and everybody was buzzing about LeBron. And I remember still watching in Chicago him being drafted. He had the all-white suit on.
Yes.
And he had the huge
biggest draft suit ever.
Yeah, big baggy box-looking suit. He had the huge diamond earrings in. They threw the red Cavaliers hat on it. It just kind of fit, you know what I mean? And then I remember watching him debut against the Sacramento Kings, where people were like, "Oh my God,
he's worth the price of admission."
He is going to be so incredibly good." Where I mean, like there was like. People didn't know, you were like thinking, how is this young high school phenom physically ready
for the NBA,
ready to go against grown men? And I mean, he swiped, I believe Bobby Jackson was the point guard for the Sacramento Kings. He swiped him in the open floor and had like a breakaway open court dunk.
Classic.
Where
LeBron.
he had like the classic, like just like brought it back. And I mean, people were you could sense like, oh wow, this is going to be different. Yeah, I mean, this guy is. I mean, because if you followed the jump from high school to the NBA, a lot of those guys struggled for at least a certain portion of time to catch on. I mean, some, faster than others, some more delayed than the others. I mean, I still can see Kobe Bryant firing up air balls in the 1997 Western Conference Finals against Utah. I mean, like he had like 3 straight air balls his rookie year, and he was coming off the bench. I mean, it still took guys like Kobe and KG time to really transition into the league. LeBron came in and was a superstar on opening night. And from that time, 20 years ago, he is a 19-time All-Star. He's a 4-time champion. He's a 4-time Finals MVP. He's a 4-time season and regular season MVP. He's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist. He's 1st in all-time points. He's 4th in all-time assist, 9th all-time in steals, and 9th all-times in three-pointers made. I mean, he's top 10 in just about every major stat that basketball keeps, and he's showing no sign of breaking down. I mean, the most impressive part to me about LeBron James is that 20 years later, he's physically still dominating the league. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's jumping over people. He's running past people. He's knocking shots down in spots that look impossible, and he still is able to execute. I mean, his physical dominance of the NBA is without question the best that I've ever seen. Shaq did it for spurts. Shaq did it for, a couple of seasons of his overall career. LeBron has done it for the majority of his career. I mean, all of it, really. Yeah, and the fact that he's not gotten hurt is incredible.
Wild. Yeah.
It is amazing that he has not had some type of just major injury. And I don't mean to put that out there or say it. It's just 20 years in, this guy is exerting more energy than just about anybody in the arena every single night. And he has withstood, and his body has kept up all but just about one season. Yeah. His first year in L.A., and really, he saw that there was no hope and that they weren't going to make the playoffs, and he
out.
shut it down. I mean, he knew my body's an investment, and I'm not wasting these reps. And, love him or hate him, one thing that you have to appreciate about LeBron James is that he's kept himself in physically tip-top shape, and he's still able to give the ticket buyer entertainment value at 38 years old.
Well, that's the point. I mean, obviously people got triggered with me saying he's better than MJ, but I mean, MJ was great in his era, but LeBron is the greatest in this era. I mean, he's remained a top 10 player all of his career. That's never happened before. I mean, it's just, I love Michael Jordan. I'm not saying I don't, but statistically, he's the best, right? He's the best right now. He's surpassed everybody else.
In stats.
Yeah,
right?
in stats.
Yeah.
In stats. That's what I meant. That's what I said. In stats.
Yeah,
Still love MJ.
and I think that means something to him. I think he wants
does.
all of that. I mean, I think Shaq was pushing him last night on the post-game press conference or like the post-game show on TNT of like, hey, who's the best now? And Shaq wouldn't let him out of it. He was kind of, LeBron was kind of saying, it's a great debate. People are going to get it. It's like, no, I want to hear you say it. I want to hear you say it. And LeBron was like, look, I'll take me against anybody. I always believe I'm the best. And that's how you have to think to get to that level. But, it'll be debated forever.
It will. And I hate comparing two players. I mean, really, you shouldn't. I mean, a basketball team is a team. Like, everybody's doing it together. I hate, like, that debate. But it's just when you look at statistics.
Right.
That's it.
But congratulations to LeBron James.
Yeah.
As we said, he'll be only getting better off of this. I don't see any sign of slowing down. I mean, this guy he's a machine, man. I mean, he really is. I mean, he is an absolute physical machine in what he puts out every night and what he continues to be able to push through. I mean, a lot of people at 38 in the NBA are limping.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of 38-year-olds that have played in the NBA can't get out of bed.
Who else is around his age actively playing right now that's good?
I mean, like,
that's good.
How old is Draymond?
Like 30.
30?
Yeah, Draymond ain't that old.
Man, so is there anybody that
There's not many people in the league that are over like 35.
Damn. I mean, that's wild. I gotta look this up now.
I'm looking it up right now.
Somebody knows this in the chat too.
Oldest active player is Udonis Haslem,
Okay.
who is 42 years old.
Wow.
Andre Iguodala is 38 years old,
Okay.
who plays for Golden State. Carmelo's 38.
Okay. Well, there we go. There's a few.
I mean, LeBron.
Yeah.
And LeBron's right there. I mean, Paul Millsap, the Louisiana native. So, I mean, he's one of the oldest players in the league.
Yeah.
So,
Good for him.
yeah, great for LeBron. All right, we'll talk to Jacques coming up here. Hey, don't forget, fellas, less than a week away is Valentine's Day. Billy Harriman's Flowers and Gifts. Billy Harriman's has a couple of locations here in Baton Rouge. They've got 3 locations, including one right here in the Garden District over in South Baton Rouge. You can find them at 1946 Perkins Road in the Garden District. Then if you're looking for another location, they have one between Segan and Pico over on Perkins Road as well. And then their spot off of North Harrells Ferry off of Old Hammond between Airline and Sherwood is where you can find Billy Harriman's. Billy Harriman's is getting you ready for Valentine's Day. Don't put it off. Don't procrastinate. You can do it now. You can click online if you'd like at 272-rose.com. 272-rose.com is how you get directly in touch with Billy Harriman's, or you could call him 225-272-ROSE. 225-272-ROSE. If you mention the show, you're going to get a free box of chocolates. So help us out if you don't mind. If you're looking to get a gift for Valentine's Day, get over to Billy Harriman's. 3 locations, 2 on Perkins Road, 1 in South Downs, the other over near Segan and Pico. Then they've got a spot over on North Harrells Ferry, right off of Old Hammond, and in between Sherwood and Airline that you can find as well. Billy Harriman's Flowers and Gifts. It's not just about the flowers. They've got beautiful gift ideas for you over there on Valentine's Day as well. Like we said, mention the show and get a free box of chocolates, and you can call them.
7673.
272.
7673. Spells Rose.
225-272-7673.
Yeah.
Or 225-272-ROSE.
Send us flowers if y'all want to.
Is the phone number.
Cool.
Get out in front of it, fellas. Don't wait. Don't procrastinate.
They can just walk them across the street, really.
Yeah.
Literally, we're right across the street from Harriman's.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's kind of you just give away our
Draymond's
position.
32.
Okay. 32. Somebody else said somebody was up there.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, Chris
Hunter
Paul.
Fournette said Chris Paul's like 90.
I mean, Chris Paul is
Jeez.
KD's 34.
KD's 34.
Right.
I mean, it's not an old man's league.
Chris Paul's 37, so
Oh.
right there.
Okay.
All right, make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. Like we said, we're going to talk to Jacques coming up here. LSU plays tonight at Mississippi State. This will be a tough spot for LSU as they are looking to get off the schneid from an SEC standpoint. It's been a minute since they won one. It was actually their opening game in conference play versus Arkansas back in January that they got, or back in December actually, that they got the win in conference play. They do have a record in games that are decided by 3 or fewer of 3-2. So hopefully, if they can keep it tight, they'll give themselves a chance to possibly push over the top tonight. But they need a win in a desperate way, right? I mean, like this is, this is a spot where just your program, your morale, the mentality. I mean, you're just kind of looking to put one together and just to kind of get right. So hopefully LSU can find some confidence tonight and be able to score and knock down some shots against a really tough Mississippi State team that does a really good job of protecting home court. They're 9-3 at home, and they are averaging just over 65 points a game. So this is going to be a defensive struggle for sure with both teams coming into tonight, at least on paper.
Are we
That's
betting?
what it looks like. I've
Maybe
got no interest in betting on
Really?
LSU's
Okay.
basketball team.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm out
All
by
right.
taking that
I
bet.
respect that. We don't have to do it.
That's a terrible bet.
We talked about it. the
LSU's.
other day.
I mean, LSU's 10-point underdogs. Mm-hmm. I would probably take LSU,
Yeah, I take the points, but like I'm not. I'm not.
but I do that with zero confidence.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that
Okay.
with absolutely no confidence. So
Let's don't get all down in the dumps again.
Baseball
Right.
season's coming. We'll be
Right.
Yeah.
9 days away.
back. Yep.
baseball seasons should be here and should be fun to watch for
Jay
sure.
Johnson every Monday mic'd up.
He started last week. He started this week, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
Yeah. See.
Yeah, you can get all your baseball news from Mic'd Up and the crew over there. So make sure and dial them in.
And Nick
6 to 8
Diaz
o'clock.
is super into baseball too, so
Yeah.
he's excited to start talking about that on his show as well.
Some other basketball news from last night. Cam Thomas went for 40 again.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomas here is on a bender. 21 years old. He finished with 43 last night, becoming the youngest player in NBA history with 3 straight 40-point games. He had 44 against Washington on Saturday. He had 47 earlier this week, and then he had 43 last night. Now, the Nets are 1-2 during that run, but from Thomas's standpoint, this is incredible to watch. This was the lead-in game to last night Lakers with LeBron going for the scoring title, but Phoenix was in Brooklyn taking on the Nets, and that was kind of the primer on TNT to get you ready for LeBron, and it was a great stage for Cam Thomas. I'd imagine that a lot of people either saw Cam Thomas play for the first time last night or really got to put a face with the name of the guy that's been lighting up the league for the last couple of games, because people are really starting to pay attention to what Cam is doing. And look, this is just an opportunity. No Kyrie. Here comes a young draft pick from Brooklyn stepping in and making the most of an opportunity by another 40-point effort. So shout out to Cam, man. I'm looking forward. As we said, Coach Will Wade's podcast is going to air Friday this week, as Coach Wade is tied up earlier this week as he's got some stuff going on Monday through Thursday. So we're going to record on Friday, and we will have all of the content and the latest Will Wade podcast to you later this week. And obviously, we will talk about Cam Thomas lighting the league up right now, as it has been fun to watch him really kind of in his element. It feels a little bit like watching that LSU-Michigan game in the tournament where Cam was doing some just kind of crazy scoring stuff, dribbling to his left from 35 feet, knocking it down. I mean, just some gifted, elite scoring in basketball. I mean, it's been fun to watch Cam on this run. Hopefully, the Nets can start to put together some wins as they fell last night by 4, 116-112. But
Would you like a little Cam Thomas LSU trivia question?
sure, hit me.
Do you know what his career high points was for
At
LSU?
LSU?
He's like in the 30s.
It was in 2020.
Sure. Well, I mean,
I'll
he's only
give you
here
a
1
hint.
year.
And it was against A&M.
It was like in the 30s.
42?
32.
32.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say I knew it was in the 30s.
77
Hard to score 40 in a
win in that
college
game.
game. Weird. 15-minute halves is just.
How many did he score against Michigan's? I mean, against Michigan in the tournament. I mean, it felt like he was.
I mean, he felt like he scored
He
every
was
bucket.
a bucket. I mean, but he's on one right now.
Yeah, he is.
Um,
And men's plays A&M this Saturday too, right?
Right? Yeah. Well, they play tonight.
I know, but then they play
Yeah, at
A&M. I
home.
was just saying because that game was A&M. Is it here?
Yeah, it's at home.
Okay.
Saturday night.
Yeah,
It's a night game coming up on
7:30.
yeah,
Might get a little crawfish nacho going for dinner Saturday.
Scored 30 against Michigan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, a loud 30.
Yeah.
I mean, it was. He was throwing bombs.
Him and Javante, 30
Yeah.
and 27.
Wow. Got beat.
Nothing from the bench.
All right. Yesterday we talked a little bit about. I'm not talking anymore about Dale Brown Court. I can't.
Let's
I
not,
cannot
for the
do
love
it.
of God,
I cannot
please.
do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Brando.
But I do need to say this
Okay.
about the court, and I don't.
I'm not going to talk any more about Dale Brown.
No, I
Court.
said I don't want to.
One more thing.
I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
I don't want to, but I have to.
But what I've been told from numerous people on the inside, obviously this is causing a lot of reaction at LSU. Everybody talking about this.
You think?
You know what I mean? I mean,
I
has
think they
Tim
should
Brett turned down any media opportunity but ours
Oh, yeah,
over the
coach.
last 24 hours?
Maybe
Door's
he'll
always
call in
open.
For the
Sure.
mailbag
I mean, he
segment.
can come. He can come in anytime. Tim wants to come on the show. We'd love
Call
to
us,
have
Tim.
him. But I mean,
753
obviously,
Rose.
with this becoming news over the last 24 hours, people at LSU were just like, "Geez, I mean, this is." Can somebody, can we just get past this? Can we just move past this? But I think there's a lot of confusion on, how did they vote on this and it pass 12-3 a year ago and then have it brought back to, the voting circle? And I agree. Like, that's screwed up, right? When you just kind of like, how did that happen? I mean,
is.
if it was voted on and it was already agreed upon and the votes were there and it happened, then what's the issue, right?
So are you about to provide the explanation? Because a lot of people have been asking this question.
The explanation that I know from people at LSU is that it did not go through the proper protocol of, like, if you're going to build a statue, if you're going to name a building, if you're going to name a street, Skip Burtman Boulevard over there, that used to be North Stadium Drive, one of the stadium drives. But, I mean, like, when that all happened, when they put up the Simone Augustus statue, when they put up, the Shaquille O'Neal, the Bob Pettit, the Pistol Pete statue, when they named the building after Pistol Pete, I don't think that the building was, because it was the 70s and, like, the city of Baton Rouge owned them. It was weird. But to go through all those processes, LSU has a protocol of getting that done. And it's either the athletic director's office has to nominate it to the Hall of Fame committee, then the Hall of Fame committee has to push it through where it ultimately gets to the Board of Supervisors where they vote on it, and from that vote, they move in action, right? Well, from what I have been told by numerous sources up at LSU who are very well versed on the protocol, is that last year at this time, the protocol was not followed. And that's why it is being brought back up to vote a year later. Or at least that's what that's what the side is using that wants a revote, is that the protocol and the policies that LSU has put in place to make something like this happen, to, build a statue. Which, by the way, why is it taking so long to build Burrow's statue?
I don't know.
I mean,
That's a whole
like, can we
other-
get this done? I mean, like, we're throwing statues up, of everybody now at LSU. Can we get Joe Burrow
Right.
a statue, for God's sakes?
What's the rule? You have to graduate or something?
He's graduated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I mean,
give the guy
he's checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The years.
I
are,
mean,
you know,
like,
it's getting
if
kinda-
we're handing out statues, let's get the Burrow statue built.
I'll build it myself.
But
So how did it get through then for this entire year? How did we
great
get to
question.
this?
I was like, so how the hell did last year happen?
Right.
Right? Well, new president,
Okay.
new board members
Mm-hmm.
being brought in. And this is something that has been voted on before and has been declined
Okay.
3 times.
Like the correct way. It went
Right.
through the correct.
It went through
okay.
the correct channels of what I know, a minimum of 3 times.
Okay.
It could have been more. That could be just 3. But I know it's gone through 3 times and that it has been voted down, that it was rejected
Right.
3 times. And that's why the Tim Brandos, the Collis Temples, the Jordy Holtbergs, the people that are very passionate about Dale Brown were making that trip up to the Board of Supervisors last year to really plead their case because they saw this thing's on the doorstep.
Yeah.
We've been fighting for this thing for a long time. We finally got an opportunity to get this thing done. And that's why there was so much passion being shown at that supervisors meeting, is because they have been fighting this fight for about a decade.
God, that's
You know,
crazy.
I mean, like even when Brando used to talk to me,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like he would say, "Hey, help me out on this Dale Brown court thing." You know, like give me some, just talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, like put it out there. So they have been really pushing for this for a while, and from what I understand, and from what I have been told over the last 24 hours by numerous people who are very familiar with the process, say that last year, with the turnover in the Board of Supervisors, the new president coming in, there was a little bit of a gap that allowed a breakdown in policy. You know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
the story was told to me that, you know, Collis Temple and a couple of the Brown supporters really pushed William Tate when he got the job early on for some, you know, kind of some political clout
Right.
to push this through. Like, hey, you want to do a good, you want to do a solid for a lot of, you know, people that are influential. Get this Dale Brown court thing pushed through, and that's why a lot of people are coming down on Tate a year later and saying that, you know, I mean, if you followed Brando over the last 24 hours, he is on a media crusade
Yeah.
against everybody up there, and I mean, he's name calling, you know, nobody harder than the president, I mean,
Right.
because he saw the president a year ago as an ally, and now he's kind of flipped. Not kinda, he's flipped.
Yeah.
And it's changed the tone of everything. You know, I mean, that's really what has pissed off that side, is that a year ago it felt like this whole thing was aligned.
Right.
Now with a year on the job, you know, William Tate has had conversations with the governor and with other board members and with other people around, and was like, yo, look, this didn't go down the right way. And I think that's what they're using as kind of their vessel.
So is that like guilt on his part? Like he did it, now he's feeling guilty about
Who?
it? Tate.
I don't know how guilty he feels about it, because I know that,
But
I
he's
mean,
admitting that it wasn't the
it has
right
been
thing.
reported, and we told the story here. You know, I know Jeff Marks told the story on Moscona show, but we told it a month ago that Collis Temple and William Tate went and picked up Dale Brown, and they really like went with the intent of trying to like encourage him to be the voice that we're going to change the court to Sue Gunner Dale Brown court. Like they were like, Dale, we need you to be the guy that's saying this is all good.
Right.
Like, hey, I'm pushing for this. I was a supporter of Sue. I'm for equality. Put her name on the court.
Yeah.
Well, that lunch didn't go like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that lunch ended with Dale Brown pushing away from the table, flipping the bird to, you know, those guys and leaving.
Right.
You know, and leaving that lunch. So, you know, I think they kind of looked at each other and were like, this is about to be a
This is about to be bad.
This is
Shitstorm.
about to be a shitstorm.
This is
Like,
not good.
Just buckle up,
Yeah.
because the next couple of months are going to be a hell of a roller coaster ride. And that's what it is.
And they have
You
been.
know, and the roller coaster's pulling up to the theme park on Friday.
Did Brando like go to LSU or something?
He had never gone to LSU.
What? I'm
It's-
just trying to figure out his like, what's his, you know?
His stance, like
Yeah.
why he's so passionate.
Dale
And
Brown got him the job at WAFB.
that's right. And he's been telling the story everywhere.
Well, maybe he should just get on his knees for Odell then. You know?
I mean, he's, you know, that he feels in debt to Dale for what he did for his career, and that's what he's that's what he's fighting for. But there's a lot of people that have stepped away and been like, Tim, you want to die on this hill?
I know. He
Like,
clearly
this is-
does.
This is the hill that you want to, because
He is.
his tone,
He's king of the hill.
I mean,
Yeah.
his tone and his comments, you can't take that stuff back.
I know.
Yeah,
You know
he's
what I mean?
almost-
Like, I mean, the stuff that he's put out there, the stuff that he's typed on social media, the names that he's called everybody from the president to the governor. I mean, he's out there promising that when the governor's seat's turning over, they're replacing all of the board of supervisors and that they're going to get it. It's just like, Tim, come here, man. Turn the microphone off. Give me your phone.
No,
You know what I mean? Like, let me take your phone away. Stop for
Yeah.
24 hours. Like, stop, man.
I
At
wish
least.
he would.
But
He's not going to till Friday, though. So we got 2 more days to hear about it. And then it'll be over, right? You're reading that comment from Dumbo Drop 23?
Jordy is as bad as Brando. For whatever reason, he wants to defend the renaming. No, I don't. I could care less
I mean,
whose name is on the court. Quite frankly, I don't think anybody's name needs to be on the floor.
Right.
Nobody has done anything to justly put their name on the basketball court in LSU basketball history.
Shaq would be it, right?
Maybe.
Just
Like-
for what he's given to the university
Maybe.
program.
like,
Maybe.
Yeah. but,
Maybe.
You know, I mean,
and
that
that's
wouldn't be
just,
controversial.
That's just recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You know what I mean? That's just, I think LSU basketball, I align it with Shaquille O'Neal.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The fact that the building is named Pistol Pete, you know, the PMAC, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the fact that he's the all-time leading scorer in college basketball and one of the greatest to ever play, LSU should recognize that. Yeah. The people that we're talking about putting the names on the court did really good things for the basketball program. Good enough where they should be recognized forever. There's better ways to recognize these people than putting their name on the game floor forever. I mean, Sue Gunner has a statue in the corridor of the PMAC. Put Dale Brown a statue on the other side, on the corridor of the PMAC.
Yeah.
Allow those to live forever with their accolades, accomplishments, and who they are on, and for everybody to see for eternity in LSU basketball, and keep the court open for somebody who really makes a major impact on the program from a winning standpoint. Both of those people had impacts on their respective programs on and off the court. Undeniable. Undeniable. Enough where they should be recognized in the history of the university where everybody remembers and knows what they've done. To say that their names belong on the court, it just doesn't make a lot of sense
Yeah,
to me.
I agree.
It just doesn't make a lot of sense to
How
me.
much of an uproar would you think it would be if it was like the football stadium and it was like
Oh, man.
Billy Cannon?
Charlie-
or-
This would be in line of naming the football field Charlie McClendon Field, who coached at LSU for 25 years and didn't do anything. Had really good teams, put out really good players. And look, I can't say that because it was before my time and I never covered Coach Charlie McClendon. I never met Coach Charlie McClendon, but I can look at the stats and see that Bear Bryant used to beat his brains in every single year. No matter how good LSU was or they weren't, he couldn't beat him until the end. And that's really what he was known for. Was he a great guy? Did he affect the community? Did he win football games? Was he loyal to LSU? Check, 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 check. Did he do enough to have the field named after him? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Name the practice facility after him, though.
Right? But if you
yeah.
want to bring me Nick Saban Field at Tiger Stadium, I'll listen to it. Because that guy made an enormous impact on LSU football.
That's a bold move.
He opened up the eyes of people and administrators of, hey, you can stay mediocre if you want, or you can turn this thing into a monster.
Oh my God, people would be at like the administration's building like rioting. If
burning it down.
If they tried to
Right,
name
burn
it
the
Nick
field
Saban
down.
Field, like they'd probably try to burn the stadium down.
You know what the name of the practice facility is?
Charles McClendon.
Charlie McClendon Practice Facility.
Yeah, we'll take
Because,
that.
hey, we got to recognize Charlie McClendon. He did a really good job for LSU football. He stayed a long time. He was loyal to the program while he was here. There was good deeds being done both on and off the field. How can we recognize him? We can't put him in the stadium, right? No, hell no. You know what I mean? I guarantee you everybody in that room was like, hell no.
Football ops is open though.
But there's a practice facility that's sitting right over there that we can put his name on the outside of the building, and everybody that drives by it, everybody that parks for an LSU football game, everybody that walks from their parking spot to an LSU football game will pass by the practice facility and see that it's named after a former coach. I'm walking with Jordan to the game one shiny Saturday, some sun-shining Saturday, and he says, Dad, who's Charles McClendon? Jay, Charles McClendon was a coach at LSU for 25 years, had a lot of good players, spent a lot of good time here, and okay. Now little Jay, a 12-year-old, knows who Charlie McClendon is and can grow up and tell the story to him and his kid when they're walking to the game 20 years from now when they see Charlie McClendon practice facility. And it's carrying on the legacy of Charlie McClendon. Why not on the outside of the practice facility of LSU women's and men's practice facility? Put Sue Gunner's signature on the side of it. Sue Gunner's practice facility. On the other side of the men's, Dale Brown practice facility. Or name it Brown Gunner practice facility.
Right.
And that way, everybody that walks past the practice facility, everybody that walks up to a game, everybody that comes through campus, everybody that sees the statues in LSU basketball know that, hey, these two people must have affected the program to a degree that they want to recognize who they are and keep their name eternal around the program.
Damn,
Doing
Jordan.
all of this by not putting their name on the court and causing this just dramatic high school reunion.
They should put you on the board.
Makes too much sense.
Why can't we just put a lot of people's names on the court?
I mean,
Not
yeah,
name it
just-
at all. Just
Yeah,
put their
let's put
signatures all the
everybody's
way
name
around
on
the
it.
court.
Yeah, let's just throw it all out there, you know? Anybody.
Daniel Glenn, anyone else missing some football right now? Yes.
Good God,
We
yes,
are, Daniel. Look what we're talking
I
about.
mean, they must miss football
Good
a lot.
God.
Yeah. I mean, we thought we were going to have a lot of basketball to talk about. You know, it's not working out that way.
You know, football season's coming. It's right there.
coming.
Spring will be here soon.
Yeah, I think spring starts
We'll have
in
some
March.
things to talk about.
Speaking of football, can we talk about Aaron Rodgers' darkness retreat?
Yes.
I just need, I need people's opinions on this. Like,
why does
what,
he have to tell people that?
I don't know.
Like,
It's more
why does
attention,
he
I
feel
think, right?
like he has to tell people that he's going there? Because he knows what this is going to
yes, he
create.
knows.
Rodgers is like that one friend that's like, I'm weird, and he wants you to know.
Right.
He wants you to know he's
Like,
weird.
yeah, bro, I do acid all
But
the time.
we've been knowing you were weird.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to keep telling
been
us.
knowing you my whole life. Like,
Right. Like, even if you didn't tell me that you were going on a hallucinogenic project retreat for 4 days over the off season, I would have guessed that you took a lot of hallucinogens, that you hallucinated a lot during the off season.
Right.
Yes.
You don't have to tell me. You know, I mean, like, you know.
So he's going to come out of this house, though, either like retiring or telling us some other news, right? It's 4
Yeah.
days in an unlit house, and then he's going to emerge with a decision on his future. There's no access to the outside world.
How does he eat?
There's a door and a food slot.
Who cooks the food?
I don't know.
Like, this is, you sign up for this, or this is a
I don't
This
know.
this is a personal preference.
This
Like,
is all the time, like, I'm on drugs. Like, I
Is
do
there a
this.
bathroom in there? How do you
Like-
find it in the dark? How do you get around the house?
He's not worried about
in
the bathroom.
daylight, is it also like shut down, like shuttered, like there's no light at all for 4 solid days? Like, that's enough to make you kind of lose your mind a little bit, right?
Yeah, he's already
You
lost
could.
it, you know?
I mean, 4 days in
4
the
days.
dark
Yes.
That's
with no outside touch. I mean, that sounds like
He's going to
that sounds like,
contemplate his future.
private confinement
yeah,
in jail.
That
It
sounds
is.
like Navy SEAL
I
training.
know,
Like,
doesn't it?
Put me in the dark and just
Leave me
stay
alone.
up for 48 hours or something.
He said on Pat McAfee it's going to allow him to contemplate all things my future. That's why he's doing it. His
However you
goal
gotta
is
get
to
there,
make
man.
a decision that he feels is in the highest interest of his happiness.
Oh my goodness, he sounds like he's taking shrooms.
He does sound like that.
Oh,
Is
he
it
is.
Wouldn't he die to know where the house is?
Yeah, I would say like somewhere in the middle of like Wyoming or something.
Or like
Gotta
Northern
be.
California.
Yeah,
He can leave. He said there is a door that would allow him to leave if he like got freaked out and didn't want to finish the retreat.
Does he do it with anybody else?
No,
He's by
isolated.
himself?
Except I guess for the person sticking the food through the slot.
hey, It's Rodgers' time to eat.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty intense. You are alone with your thoughts for 4 solid days in darkness with no one to talk to, food through a slot, absolutely nothing else to do but think, I guess, and like meditate.
Wow.
I mean, I guess that would help you gain a lot of clarity, but it's a very strange way to go about it.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it either, but maybe it works.
I mean,
maybe
at his age, it's kind of like you should be able to make these decisions very easily.
I guess he can't. He said you can't
Like-
bring a journal, music, anything. There's no sounds. It's just sitting in isolation,
Holy
dealing with your
cow.
thoughts. It stimulates DMT, so there can be some hallucinations in there.
Yeah, he said he wants to turn into Nick Cage.
Well, he's taking DMT.
He just said it stimulates DMT, so there can be some hallucinations, but it's just kind of sitting in silence, which most of us never do.
Yeah, Rodgers is strange.
A-Rod,
Yeah,
bro.
I mean,
I
I can't wait to see what happens when he comes out. Like, I'm so curious about the whole process, right?
He went from being like a really cool, like
Yeah,
You
he
know,
did.
kind of cool quarterback. Like people liked him. Now he's just weird. Like,
Yeah.
it's not even a in between.
Well, the narrative has shifted on him so much over the last 3 years. Where you thought when they brought in a new coach, when they brought in LaFleur, that was going to kind of be the difference that he needed. He had dumped so much on Mike McCarthy that it seemed like McCarthy was the guy that really had kind of screwed it up.
Yeah.
And he was the one that was kind of roadblocking the entire organization from advancing. I mean, you had this phenomenal quarterback who seemingly was getting more years out of his prime than the position usually allows, and there was no support around him. Now, with a new coach, you got some weapons. It's still the same old story with Rodgers, and I don't think it discredits his greatness by any means. I think that's just who he is. That's who he has become. I mean, he's somebody that I would really – I mean, I never doubted that Drew Brees, Tom Brady love football, obsess over football.
They're-
You know what I mean?
Like Peyton.
Peyton Manning, I mean, just obsesses over football still.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still see what it does to him. It doesn't do that to Brady. I mean, it's to Rodgers.
For Rodgers, yeah.
I mean, it does that to Brady, but it does not do that to Rodgers. It doesn't pull him like that.
Well, and the Packers have to be so over this, right?
Oh, I would
all this
imagine.
right now. I mean, this is getting like
I'd
ridiculous.
imagine so.
At this
And Jordan
point.
Love looked pretty good.
Yeah.
In that spot they gave him last year. So maybe they're like, hey, look, man, we're cutting bait.
Yeah.
Do you think he is attention starved, or do you think he's interesting? You think he's for real, or do you think he's attention
He's
starved?
for real. He's
Okay.
not just playing around.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he's real, but I think that he,
Like authentic, I guess, would
like
be
some
the
of this,
better-
like you don't have to say this stuff.
Right.
You know what this is going to do.
That's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like,
you know,
it
like
makes
if
him
you're
look less
really
authentic.
not into all of the attention, like 90% of these guys, these athletes claim to be.
Mm-hmm.
They don't not like the attention sometimes. They despise it.
Yeah.
Like they will fight you over it.
Yeah.
So, okay, I get it. I understand. But if you don't want that attention, if you don't want that spotlight, I mean, telling people you're going to go shade off into the darkness for 4 days
Yeah.
and
That's
eat out of a slot is not the way to stay private.
I think he comes back in 2023.
yeah. I mean,
I think he emerges from the darkness retreat and he does not retire.
He's coming back.
I think he's going to Las Vegas.
I don't think he wants to go to I don't think he wants to go to the Hall of Fame with J.J. Watt and Tom Brady.
No,
But
he
he's
doesn't.
denying that
I know
has
he is,
anything
but I
to do
mean,
with it.
I know he
Yeah,
is, but
come
I mean,
on, like
if you're not into attention,
I know.
then, I mean, this would be a great test. Do you care about attention or not?
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, this.
no, I don't.
I know.
Okay, well, then you're going to go in with Tom Brady and J.J. Watt. I might come back again.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back another year.
I'm going away to the darkness for 4 days. All right.
All right, Aaron. It's cool. It's cool.
All right.
It's so strange, but I'm interested in it. I
He's
can't
just
wait to see
such
how
a weird guy.
I want the stories from it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
me too. And I don't think that like Rodgers is a cancer to the locker room.
No.
I don't think
No.
that he's a bad teammate. I just don't think that he really loves and obsesses about football.
Yeah, you just
I
like,
just don't think that he.
So if he comes out of this and he speaks on it and he's like, this is the most incredible thing you can do. If you've got a life-changing decision to make, go into a darkness retreat, and I promise you're going to come out with more clarity than you've ever had. Would you do it?
no.
I feel like I could do it.
Yeah.
I mean, like if I if I believed in it that much.
Right.
I don't know if I believe in it that
Yeah.
I
much.
know.
You know what
but
I mean?
if he
And
makes you believe,
4 days is a long time.
It's a long
I could
time.
do 2.
that's what I was thinking.
Would probably
Cut
be
in
my
half.
max because I don't hate the quiet.
Right.
Like I'm not mad at the quiet. Now, I'd have never stayed quiet for 48 hours.
I'm trying to
Yes.
picture
In the
you
dark.
doing this.
Like by yourself. You gotta like.
In
How
the
does he ask
dark.
for food? Like how does he tell him he's hungry?
I know.
Does he just like knock on a
I
ring a
wonder if
bell?
you just get like the 3 square meals.
I mean, yeah. Can
I
you
would
talk to
think
the
so.
person? Does light come in the food slot?
I'm sure.
I have so many
You know, like
questions.
I would question like what's the degree of darkness?
Right.
You know,
I
like
need to know
how
where
dark,
I'm
like
at.
at like noon in the day, is it
I
still
know.
pitch black?
Like, can you see your hand in front of your face?
Right.
Do your eyes ever adjust where you can see anything?
Right. And what that would be after 4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, think about someone could be in there with you the whole time and you would never know.
Well, I think that you would hear it.
right.
I mean,
or
if
something.
you're in the ultimate quiet.
yeah.
Oh yeah, you're gonna hear
I mean,
something.
like you're gonna hear anything that moves. You would think.
But how creepy.
Very.
Oh my God.
Extremely.
It's like the movie Hush.
Yeah. You would get in your head for sure and start thinking about things that could be in there with you. Like, what if the light slipped on and there were just some crazy stuff
Like,
around
somebody
you the
standing
whole
right in
time you
front of you?
never knew. Yeah.
Good.
Just like a group of people just
Yes.
standing looking
That
at
freaks
you.
me out.
Man, Rodgers is okay with it.
He is. What a guy.
I mean, like, are you able to control the temperature settings
I
and
know,
stuff?
right? Have to be. It's got to be comfortable, right? And is there like a bed? Do you lie down on a bed? Is there a chair you sit on? How do you find
Yeah, there
it?
has to be a bed.
I guess.
Rodgers
I
seems
mean, if
like a
there's
sleep on the
you
floor
can't bring
guy.
a book,
Right.
you can't bring a journal, you can't bring any music. I mean,
I don't know.
I
Bro.
want like a speaker in there. I want to be able to hear the 4 days. Wouldn't you love to hear what goes on in there just from him? Does he talk out loud?
oh, I'm sure.
You know, it would just be really interesting to hear what he goes through.
Rips farts.
I know, totally, right? You
Oh,
hear
I mean,
everything.
I mean, like, you're by yourself. I
Yeah.
mean, like, that would be a strange
yeah,
experience.
it'd be really strange.
But I wouldn't be totally closed-minded to it.
Yeah,
You
same.
know what I mean? I'd be open-minded to it.
Same.
I
Just
mean,
4
I
days
think that
is
there
a
is
long
definitely
time.
positivity that comes out of silence.
Has to be, yeah. It's
Well,
like
I
meditation.
I guess it's meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, I've had people tell me like to them meditation is as important as breathing,
No, I've heard the same.
and I cannot bring myself to do it.
I can't eat. I can't.
I want
get-
to.
Me too. I want to be able to meditate. I think it's a very powerful mind trick.
It is,
Yeah.
and it's so difficult to do
It's
it.
very hard to get to that place.
It
I mean,
is.
it is extremely difficult to get there. I'd imagine that 4 days in silence, there would be some window that I
Yeah.
would be able to.
You'd get there.
You know, maybe like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You know, where you're just still.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but that would. I
Take
think
a
that there's
lot.
definitely something that you could take away from it.
Totally. I
But you know,
agree.
life altering, like make a decision whether I want to play football or not. I mean, Aaron, come on.
I know.
Yeah,
Jesus,
bro.
You in or
just
you out,
play or
bro?
not. I
Like-
know, right?
Like, make a
So
decision.
This is
dramatic.
every off season with you, man. I mean, like, do you want to play football or not? We're trying to give you $25 million to do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're trying to like nickel and dime you, dude. I mean, we're trying to make you one of the highest paid guys in the league to do this. Are you in? Or are you out? I need 4 days. I think Jacques here. All right, we're going to go let Jacques in, and we'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, we're brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois, rmb-builders.com. Hit them on Instagram. They got all their projects there. We'll be back with more of the show right after this, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz. I was embarrassed about my smile. Are you unhappy at yours? Do you not smile back at yourself? I called my friend, Dr. Spillers, over at Johnson Spillers. He fixed my smile, and now everywhere I go, people are complimenting it after the work that Dr. Spillers and the staff did to my mouth. They can do it to yours. Get in touch with them. JohnsonSpillers.com. 2 locations, one in Gonzales, one in Baton Rouge. Easy to find them, JohnsonSpillers.com.
We're all from different places and backgrounds. We've each experienced our own versions of life, but in the end, we're all on the same team. I'm part of that team, along with these players in purple and gold.
Kayshawn Buddha, Malik Neighbors, Miles Frazier,
Kyron Lacy,
Greg Brooks. Whether on the field or in the courtroom, your team matters.
So join our team.
make a difference.
Bet. Let's get it done.
All right, welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Every Wednesday, we catch up with one of our favorites, Jacques Doucet, of course, from our partner, WAFB, which you can check out the Jordy Culotta Show on WAFB.com/Jordy if you're looking for more ways to get involved with us. It was cool to be in the room earlier this week with our partners over at WAFB for a very special night in Baton Rouge, one that has been going on now for more than 15 years. It was the 16th edition of the Warwick Dunn Award banquet in Baton Rouge that is hosted by WAFB and former Catholic High standout and Florida State standout and NFL and just overall good dude, Warwick Dunn. And it was my first time being in the room. It was the first time I'd ever seen it up close. Obviously, I'd seen some clips from it and had no idea just what went into it and the amount of high school kids that show up and coaches and administrators and families, and just what a special night it was to see up close. Jacques hosted that event along with Steve Schneider, his sports caster over there, his buddy from WAFB, and it was a beautiful night. Warwick Dunn was in the room, and Jacques is here with us every Wednesday. We'll talk about that and amongst other things. Jacques, good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was a special night on Monday.
It was, man. That was it's such a cool event. I had no idea that it was the 16th year. I know it had been going on for a while. The first recipient of that was a Lutcher quarterback.
Yeah, Blaine Gauthier, who went to
with the UL, and this year it kind of Lutcher quarterback going to UL. So it was a cool story and moment to kind of be a part of.
Yeah, it's always great to see those young men. They come out, they get dressed up. They've got some real fancy sports coats that got some glitter and some bling on them and everything, and you get to see their personalities. They come up and do a little Q&A, and it's amazing over the years the guys who have won the award and who have been finalists that have gone on to big things in both college and the pros. Funny stories over the years. I remember the year Landon Collins won. Definitely one of the most landslide victories. Like,
sure,
no-brainer. Like, nobody came close to Landon Collins. And I remember in the back of the room was 2 Alabama assistant coaches because he had committed, but signing day he hadn't officially signed yet, and they were almost like watching over him.
Yeah, sure.
And it was Kirby Smart and
Billy Napier.
I hate to put it this way, the African American coach who coached all those.
Mike Locksley.
Mike Locksley.
No, with Bama.
The wide receivers coach that was here with LSU, Bobby.
Wasn't Bobby Williams?
Are you talking about Mel Tucker?
Not Mel Tucker. I'm sorry. I'm ill prepared for that. But those 2 coaches were watching over Landon Collins there, and
Burton Burns.
That's it. Sorry, Burton Burns and Kirby Smart were in the back of the room. But over the years, Jarvis Landry and your Kenny Hilliards and your Nick Brosetts, and it goes on and on and on. And so yeah, great night, and enjoyed it, and good luck to the guy they call Lunch, Dewanye Winfield.
Coach, his highlights were incredible. I mean, all of them were. I mean, all of the nominees and everybody that was in that room obviously are very special players, but
yeah,
I mean,
John Trey Kirkland too. If you remember watching his highlight tape, he was a quarterback at Lutcher before he came to LSU, and his stuff was amazing. I mean, he just run around right, left, and then chunk the ball down the field. So, yeah, Lutcher, I go speak at their quarterback club every year. They're nice enough to invite me, and it's like no other quarterback club around. I mean, it's 250, 275. It's an all-men thing, and then they eat dirty rice and baked chicken every week. It's the same menu every week, and they love their football and 9 state championships in their history.
Tim Detillier,
Tim Detillier into Dwayne Jenkins now, and just a great program. They have serious football down there between St. James and Lutcher and Riverside and St. Charles Catholic down in Laplace. It's a big deal.
Baseball is on the horizon here. We're just about 8 days away from opening pitch, and LSU is number 1 in every poll. They got 4 preseason All-Americans. Have you had a chance to get around this team? Have you had a chance to kind of get a feel of what they're experiencing going into this year with so much expectation?
I've had the chance to go to a couple of scrimmages, stay for 3 or 4 innings. I went this past Saturday. Gavin Dugas, who had eye surgery, returned and hit a 2-run homer off the scoreboard in left field. I think he hit that one off of Thatcher Hurd. Now Hurd has looked fantastic. The UCLA transfer, his season came to an end because of a back injury last year, but I've seen him pitch twice, and he's looked fantastic. I think I don't know at this point, but I would not be shocked if you just slot that guy into the Saturday spot behind Paul Skeens. And it's a bigger team physically.
Right.
Like the Maneri teams were smaller guys, faster. You see a lot more kind of 6'4", 6'3", 200, 210-pound guys out there. And so, and then when you start with Dylan Cruz and, Trey Morgan, they said all last year his knee was bugging him. He wasn't his true self, so he's back. And then you got the guys like Dugas and other veterans to put out there, and obviously Tommy Tanks. And then you got some pitchers maybe you were asking to do too much in the past to be starters, where now it's like, oh, hey, go out and give us an inning or two, and they can. I think Coach Johnson's, the way he describes it, is we can put them in a lane, and they can go for it. So, yeah, a lot of excitement. The season opener is a week from Friday. LSU softball actually starts their season Friday against New Mexico. Beth Torina and company, they're trying to. They know last year was unacceptable, and they're looking to bounce back. So it's all here.
Coach Torina is kind of the one that made it through the Woodward gauntlet, right? I mean, if you kind of look through, I mean, she's the only one from the old regime that's really kind of still there and still making it. And
her team this season feels like a little bit of a retro edition of Beth Torina, right? Preseason, top 23 preseason, all conference type players. I mean, there's some expectation around this group this year.
Well, it's a message board hobby to fire coaches at LSU, right?
Yeah,
as soon as one gets fired, okay, who's the next one we can get out? And so Beth, in her 4 out of her first 6 years, went to the College World Series. Then after that, I think they went to 3 straight Super Regionals. The good fortune they got in the first 4, they did not get some things didn't go their way, some heartbreak. They didn't pass the Super. And the last year, I think, was the first time in program history they went 0-2 at the NCAA tournament. And so, look, less is more to an extent. In one case, you want to be deep. But on the other hand, if you got too many people on the bench, that can be a problem, especially now in the modern age where if I'm not playing, I may gripe and cause some problems. And so I think they feel like the team chemistry is good. We'll see what comes out of their pitching. Allie Kilponen is back. She won 18 games last year. How good are the freshmen? They've got a transfer from Oklahoma State on the hot corner that I saw made a nice play the other day. And then, Georgia Clark hit 16 home runs last year, which for softball is like hitting 25 or 30. And then you got Taylor Pleasance, who's been a fantastic player, but has had some knee problems. And so that's kind of where your offense starts. I mean, they have 7 of their 8 position players back. Wow. And so, but it's the same problem that you have every year. The SEC is loaded. And I don't think, and this isn't an insult to Coach Torina, I don't think they were thrilled when Oklahoma is going to come aboard. The Ivan Drago of women's softball who just destroys people. They're coming to the SEC, and Texas ain't a slouch either. So it's only going to get tougher.
LSU men tonight at Mississippi State, struggling to say the least, right? Losers of 10 straight now here, 9 conference games. State's pretty pesky group. Any chance LSU gets it right tonight?
I think LSU has a chance to win some games down the stretch. There are some games against, I think, South Carolina and Georgia and Ole Miss where they can maybe. I was trying to do the math the other day and try to figure out if there's any way LSU can finish with a winning record. I think that would be the goal, to see if you can finish over 500 with this team. If you can maybe win a game in the SEC tournament or whatnot. I hate to say it, I'm not trying to be snarky, but with women's basketball playing at the clip they're playing at, with the preseason expectations of LSU baseball, and with spring football, I think starting in a month or so, and with some other things going on, gymnastics still drawing huge crowds, it really has just somewhat become an afterthought. And I think a lot of people are just kind of waiting to see, okay, what's the roster going to look like for next year, and how are we going to move forward? Because the other day they're doing their best. I mean, they scored 2 field goals in the final 9 minutes against Alabama. They just don't have the offensive punch to compete. And, Coach McMahon is absorbing all this the best he can. So hopefully he gets better. I mean, I like Coach McMahon. It's a tough situation right now.
Big weekend for LSU women, right? I mean, how do you kind of measure this? What do you expect on this? I mean, we had Mulkey on Monday, and, I mean, she was already painting South Carolina. You just mentioned Ivan Drago, kind of like – the unbeatable Russian.
Well, I apologize for all the old references, but this is going to be like Rocky Balboa going into Moscow, Russia to fight Ivan Drago. I don't think the crowd's going to be chanting LSU at the end like they were chanting Rocky, Rocky, one of the most ridiculous things in a movie ever. One of my favorite movies ever, as a matter of fact. And it's amazing, I go back and catch things like when Rocky's going to Russia to train, Paulie goes, no TV? What about the Rose Bowl game?
Rose Bowl game.
Yeah. And it's on Christmas. So they're going to hang out in Russia for another week and then watch the Rose Bowl on New Year's Day? Anyway, but Jay Johnson told me his favorite soundtrack was the Rocky IV soundtrack, which is Survivor, The Burning Heart. Yeah. Then they also recycle Eye of the Tiger from the previous. There's No Easy Way Out. Yeah. And then all those musical, Hearts on Fire.
Oh, my God. You'll know so much about this.
I could quote Rocky IV.
Oh, it's outstanding. Hey, Apollo.
I don't even know if I've seen it.
Hey, Apollo, we can't do it up there like we did before. We turn it into regular people. No, Apollo, you think you're changing. Yeah. Oh, I remember
What's the favor?
Adrian at the bottom of the stairs. Yeah. You can't win. So, yeah, that's what I'm. Anyway, watched it a million times. Then you grow up older and you're like, yeah, like you thought Rocky 1 sucked. Like, that's boring.
Right.
You know, then you become an adult and you're like, oh, no, man, this really hits you in the heart and everything. So, anyway, yeah, it's been sold out for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in Columbia. 18,000 going to show up on Sunday. And I expect them to just be ravenous fans. I mean, everyone knows who Kim Mulkey is, and everyone can see they're rising up. And Alabama football fans don't get in the Twitter mentions of Vanderbilt fans. You know, they never talk smack at Vanderbilt. But certainly South Carolina fans, has been a lot of exchanging with, you know, you won't beat South Carolina and you're going to be put in your place. And it's a credit to Kim Mulkey. I mean, they are in a spot right now that they should not be in. 2 years into Kim Mulkey, Dawn State has been at South Carolina 14 years, has become the juggernaut of the sport, and LSU is going to go in there and try to challenge him. I don't want to be in hyperbole, but I think this is the most highly anticipated regular season basketball game in the history of LSU women's. I've never heard people a month, two months back, man, that South Carolina game. Man, that South Carolina game. How do you think they're going to do? Simone Augustus, when she came, I'm looking forward to seeing play South Carolina. So Kim is sandbagging. Yeah. Oh, they're way deeper than us. Oh, you know, and she's right. They are way deeper, and they've got all their starters back from the team that won the Natty last year. Next year, it'll be interesting when LSU adds their pieces where it stands. LSU's the underdog. I hope it's a competitive game. I hope they go in there and hang in there and hope in the fourth quarter it's a game.
That'll be the lead into the Super Bowl Sunday afternoon, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire was just activated for the Kansas City Chiefs, so LSU will have an active player on Super Sunday. How do you feel about this game?
The Super Bowl?
Yeah, Chiefs and Eagles.
I probably won't. I probably won't get a chance to watch it. I'll probably be editing post-game stories from the LSU women's game. But you know, I think that I guess I'm going to root for the Chiefs. I don't know. Dawn State has been wearing a Jalen Hurts jersey a lot, hadn't she?
She's from Philly.
From Philadelphia. That's right. Okay. Well, you know, Jalen Hurts is an amazing story. If he won a Super Bowl, I'd be happy for him. You know, when I did cover when Joe Burrow won the Heisman, I was up there in New York, and Jalen was the runner-up, and he was always very glowing and said lots of great things about Burrow. I mean, the other three guys up there knew that Burrow was going to win. It was, but Jalen's always been classy and done great things, and he was just outmatched in that Oklahoma playoff against LSU. His surrounding cast just wasn't. Right. I remember Braden Fajoko after the game saying they were about as good as Ole Miss. They were like a fourth or fifth.
They shoved them around.
Yeah,
I mean, you knew at the kickoff, you were like, "This is not going to be good."
Yeah,
I mean,
same thing at the
carried the dude in the end zone. It was like, all right.
Same thing at the Citrus Bowl. Like when they all went to the amusement park, somebody looked at Purdue and said, "This is going to be a joke." But yeah, I don't really have a rooting investment in the game. Devontae Smith, we covered him in A-Meet. You know, he's a complicated story. Probably one of the weirder things I covered was when he won the Heisman, and I'm in Louisiana, and there's all this Alabama stuff, and the guy from Alabama who played at Louisiana, who from high school in Louisiana, won the Heisman. And I guess that was one that you could say got away, but at the same time, LSU got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and Terrence Marshall. So you're kind of talking with your mouth full.
No doubt. I mean, it's the Dylan Moses, Devin White argument. Yeah. You know, I mean, it's the Hootie Jones, Jamal Adams argument.
We won that one.
Like that.
Like, yeah. I mean, and now you got Keelan Moses, Dylan's little brother, who's amazing.
Jacques.
I'm in love with him.
I mean, he came through here a couple of weeks ago, and he looks like the Terminator. I mean, like
Daniil Hunter.
I mean, he is, and he's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's scary.
I mean, look, I'm not in the recruiting game, but I don't think he's going to Alabama.
I don't either.
I've heard.
No. Or at this point, right now, things could change, but I don't think that.
We got 2 years to go, or whatever it is. I'm not sure.
I mean, and look, there's a lot of people up at LSU that wanted Dylan Moses. And when Les Miles and Frank Wilson left, that did a lot for that recruitment. And I know that, losing Les Miles was kind of the out that Moses used, but Frank Wilson was enormous on that deal. If you go back to the 8th grade cover of ESPN the magazine, I mean, when you open it up and read the story, it's all about Frank Wilson telling Les Miles, we got to offer this kid.
Yeah,
Like, this
8th
is
grade.
This is the kid that he's the one that we're going to want in 2 years, and we might as well just get out in front of this. And, during that time, he developed a great relationship with Keelan.
Yeah, and Dylan Moses became a huge, villain. Mm-hmm. And last year, or 2 years ago maybe, in the summer, he did a free football camp in Baton Rouge here at Memorial Stadium, had all these kids come out. It was in conjunction with the Baton Rouge police. They weren't playing Alabama music. No one was saying Roll Tide. It was a football camp. And I interviewed him, and he was as nice a guy as he could be, very respectful. And still, you put that on the news, and you get some people that just have this anger and this. And I get it. I understand. But look, let's have a little bit of an open mind here with a guy that's local.
Jacques, why would you post that? I thought you covered LSU.
I was so naive to that until we put Landon Collins on the radio after he made his commitment. And it was on with Derek and I. It was on Culotta and the Prince. And we brought him into the studio just because we had called Dutchtown football that year and got to know him a little bit and asked him if he wanted to come on, and just were very respectful to him. We're like, why did you not choose LSU?
You weren't the angry guy at the end of the bar,
and
right?
People went nuclear, man. I mean, you would have thought that we came home and read cheat codes for, it was unreal, the backlash that people just melted over these high school prospects from. I mean, it was nuts.
I feel you. I've been here in Baton Rouge. It'll be 22 years at the end of March. I feel like I have done, not pat myself, just a ton of positive things for LSU. And I've probably been covered. I went, full disclosure, I went to the Artist formerly known as USL. I grew up a huge LSU fan. But I've done all these LSU stories, probably 1,000,000 on the Raging Cajuns. And the second I ran that story, I got an email. You USL supporter, you hate LSU. I'm just like, you have got to be kidding me.
Unreal.
So, there's always that element. We go out and cover every signing day locally. We show the kid going to Mobile or Millsaps or whatever. But when the Alabama kid comes up, the Christian Harris or the Tim Williams, it gets some people very angry. So I get it, though.
Speaking of anger, there are a lot of people that are polarized about this topic that's going to hit the Board of Supervisors' desk on Friday with this.
I was wondering when that was coming up. Like the Derek Padansky 40-yard dash. I was waiting for that, too.
That's right.
I mean, you were waiting.
You were ready to
Quick shout out. Hey, Derek, look. I have 10 times more reason to be embarrassed than you for my hair back then and my reporting and just being Jacques Doucet back in 2010. So you got nothing to worry about.
So tell me about this. What do you think about this Board of Supervisors meeting and what's leading up to it? What's going to shake out from it?
The thing that I brought up, and I think I brought it up with you, since the court has been named Dale Brown Court in January of 2022, has it, when you watch an LSU basketball game on television or you read an article in The Advocate or online or anywhere else, is Dale Brown Court mentioned?
Right.
Has it resonated? Has anyone's opinion of Dale Brown changed since they put his name on the court? And I would say really not really. I don't think it's really made that big of a deal. I think people's opinion of Dale Brown is overly positive. If you went back and watched that era of sold-out crowds and superstar players, I know we're caught up to an extent of, well, he didn't win a national championship, and maybe because Billy Donovan won 2 at Florida and Arkansas won 1, I should maybe expect LSU should have. But I never really held that against him. I never really thought, well, LSU basketball should beat Kansas or North Carolina or any of these schools in a national championship. LSU was viewed, honestly, as a football school, and if they made the NCAA tournament, that was a successful season. He went to the Final Four twice. He went to 2 other Elite Eights. And there's no doubt, he had a great career. He only won 59% of his games. His last 4 seasons, they had losing seasons. And I certainly wish that the dream team of 89-90 with Chris Jackson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Stanley Roberts would have gone further than the second round of the NCAA tournament. And I wish that Shaq would have made it further than the second round. At the same time, that was a different era of college basketball in which Christian Laettner was playing 3 years, and you had superstars that played 3 or 4 years in college basketball. So Sue Gunner, I only covered her for a short period of time. She was very sweet. The one thing thing about Sue that's different than Dale is that she had a great career at Stephen F. Austin before she came to LSU. She's in the Naismith Hall of Fame. She coached the 1980 Olympic team. It is sad that she passed away at the age of 66. If her health wouldn't have given out, I think that if she could have coached another 4 or 5 years, she would have been the head coach of those Final Four teams, and maybe with her X's and O's, they would have won a national title. We'll never know. Pokey Chapman continues to be one of the biggest what-if stories in the history of LSU athletics. She was actually the coach of pretty much all those Final Four teams, taking nothing away from Bob Stark. He did a great job taking over that team in 07, and Van Chancellor, who took over the Sylvia Fowles team, went to the Final Four. But if Pokey stays, do they go to the Final Four 5 straight years? I would say yes. And do they continue to go 6, 7, 8, 9? The way she was recruiting and the star players she'd bring in, yes. We don't talk about Pokey. You're not allowed to talk about Pokey.
Right.
So I don't know, obviously what happened with her off the floor happened off the floor. I have always liked Pokey. I've gotten along with her. And then there's people that say there's certain lines you can't cross, and we're crossed, and that's that. So I think it's going to be complicated. I don't think people, to an extent, care about this a ton. I don't think they're really that invested. Now, I disagree. They have done things for Sue Gunner. To say that they have not done things for Sue Gunner is incorrect. Now, look, when you say they've done a statue for her, that leads me to believe that it's the same size as the one outside the Simone one. And I don't want to say this one's an R2D2, but it's not as big as those ones outside. And they have a banner for her up, just like they've got a banner for Dale Brown up. And if you go to the LSU indoor practice facility, the women's side, there's a huge photo, picture, painting, whatever you call it, of Sue in there. There's also one of President Tate.
I've never seen that.
Which is, it's odd.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Simone, Sylvia, Tamika, Sue Gunner, Kim Mulkey, President Tate. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things. So I get it. I mean, he's the new president and whatnot, but it is different to have a president up with all the stars. So look, I went to the one last year when Dale was voted in, and it happened. And Dale's always been good to me. Tim Brando. I'm going to be Switzerland, Jordy, in this thing because he's, he worked at Channel 9. And, can you imagine working at Channel 9 and then he was like an ESPN reporter on the weekend, like with Beano Cook and all that. I mean, like in 1986, like when LSU goes to beat Alabama in Birmingham or whatever, he's a sideline reporter talking to Bill Arnsparger and stuff. Yeah. So, anyway, look, I think Sue Gunner and how about this? Will Dale Brown or Sue Gunner's legacy be changed by this?
No.
I think people, the way they feel about him is going to be the same whether or not the name goes on the court. Now, look, when we are dead and gone and there's a new PMAC or something, and if the name's still on the court, if someone says, Daddy, who's Dale Brown? Okay, does that keep that going? And I'm also, would you name a court after a coach who came in for 3 years, won a natty, and left over a coach who was there for 25 years and put up a consistent, great product for that period of time? I think that's debatable too. Mm-hmm. I just rambled a lot for you there, but
you are Switzerland.
Exactly.
I don't think we need to. Pokey Chapman paid the price.
Definitely.
She's been out 16 years. That happened 16 years ago.
Right.
And
people will forget in Pokey, her time at LSU was not just as a coach. She was a great player. She's a fantastic player at LSU. So, I mean, there's no way you can tell the history of the LSU women's basketball program story without including Pokey Chapman, whether you like it or not. And I understand the things that she did are irreparable. It's a line that if you cross, you're done.
Yeah.
But 16 years later, her price in her sentence has been paid.
Pokey was very popular. She was young. She was hip. She dressed well. She recruited obviously very well. And, when she used to go up against Kim Mulkey, Kim Mulkey was the enemy,
Absolutely.
The same people that are cheering and say they love Kim Mulkey now were saying, oh, that Kim Mulkey and those outfits she wears, and she yells at the refs. Now it's like, oh, Kim Mulkey and those outfits she wears, and I love it when she yells at the refs. The whole thing's flipped. Remember the infamous handshake?
Yes.
Between Pokey and Mulkey, and Mulkey ripped her hand away, and that was some...
Pokey did. Because Mulkey tried to bring her in and say something to her, didn't she? Mulkey tried to bring her in and say kind of pat her on the head. You know what I mean? Like, because it was over a recruit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I've mentioned
something, and Pokey like ripped her hand back, and I mean it was a genuine dislike. Like, they didn't like each other.
It was heated, which, you know, if Dawn Staley's comments last year had an undertone to them, you know, the biggest crowds in the history of LSU women's basketball were for Pokey Chapman, who produced a winner on the floor and Final Fours and all that. So
I don't know what happened with Pokey Chapman. Is that a conversation for off the air?
I mean, I just don't.
Are you serious?
I don't know the story.
I don't want to get into it on the air.
I just had to look it up.
I've seen people
Well, I mean,
said they had to look it up.
I mean, it was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For
but everyone doesn't know. There's people Googling it.
You know, for people that, I mean, she crossed the line. She had a relationship with the players.
Oh.
You know, I mean, that you just, it's no conversation.
I was 10 years old when this is going on. So yeah.
and before LSU landed Kim Mulkey, which I think a lot of people thought there was like a 1% chance that was going to happen. There was a bring back Pokey crowd out there that would always kind of come up and be like, let bygones be bygones. Right. But then deep in your heart, you knew that that can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Just can't do it. All right. So big weekend ahead, obviously, with what's going on. Spring football on the horizon here. Have you had a chance to just get a kind of feel after recruiting season? And looks like they're going to keep their staff intact. You know what I mean? I guess this would be the time when you would expect a little change. It looks like they're going to keep everybody intact going into year two.
I think that they've done an amazing job with the transfer portal, building defensive line depth, just guys to play and get in and out. When I sat down with Mason Smith last week and talked about that from last year, it was like, by the time the A&M game rolled around, we got pushed around because the guys were playing too many snaps and we weren't fresh. And so hopefully that aspect of it last year, where you're maybe not picking up superstars, but you're picking up guys who at least can play 10, 15 snaps and change them in and out. The cornerback position is going to be real interesting. It looks like they've, got starters out of the transfer portal as well. And then the Jaden Daniels Nussmeier competition will be interesting. I mean, I guess there is no competition. Jaden is your starter. And then the running back spot, to have Emory back, I think is a big bonus. And so, it'll be fun. They haven't put out the schedule yet when the spring game is and all that, but Coach Kelly gave us a lot of access, more access than we ever had from any previous coach. So I would hope that that's the case again in the spring and move forward. So
what's coming up on the desk? When are you on?
I'm off the next couple of days. I'll leave for South Carolina on Friday. I'll start having reports from South Carolina Friday at 6 and 10, I believe. I'm sure that our news team is going to cover this board meeting on Friday, which I guess still isn't official that they're going to do anything yet, but it's it's obviously the biggest, worst kept secret out there. So Steve Schneider and Kevin Baptiste will have different things for us moving forward and moving into an exciting time of year.
Jacques Doucet, WAFB. You can follow him on Twitter at Jacques Doucet to keep up with the latest. We'll be back with more of the Jordy Culotta Show. Remember, daily, we are brought to you by City Cafe, citycafebr.net. Stop in and see them where good friends meet over there on O'Neill and George O'Neill. Been around for over 100 years in business. citycafebr.net is where you can find the menu. You can stop in for daily lunch specials. You can also get in there for daily or Sunday brunch every Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. citycafebr.net. We'll be right back with more of the show right after this. Driven and powered by Go Chevrolet. Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college, for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here you go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Hey, Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
In a wreck, Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys is ready to go to work for you. Come meet your team.
I'm your intake specialist. I coordinate your case and connect you with your attorney and paralegal.
That's us, your legal team.
Here we go.
Thanks. And we'll fight to get you every dollar you deserve.
I'm your settlements and disbursement manager, and I'm here to get you paid on time.
I'm attorney Gordon McKernan. Put our team to work today. Just call us. Get it done.
Question in that game. You're listening to the Jordy Culotta Show live on YouTube. Catch it every day, 7 to 9 a.m., wherever you have internet access.
Oh, my guy, the host of Mac and Cube.
You said you wanted me to close it out.
I listen to his pod every day on WJOX 94. I thought I was going to beat Charlie. I didn't. You were fantastic as always. Have a great call in Missouri. I'll see you soon, man.
Thanks, man. Good
Later.
talking to you, Jordy.
Always. There he is. Cole Kubelik, the absolute best. Don't overthink it, ABC. When you move to a primetime slot and the SEC is getting that billing, make this man the color commentator. He's the absolute best.
Ooh, I mean, what a pro.
What a pro.
I remember telling them, hey, listen, my job here is to make sure that we bring, big time football to a small town environment, right? And so you see on movies sometimes about the way a town reacts to the football program and what it means to everybody. And that was the hopes and dreams that I had for the place. And so our kids take a distinct responsibility in wearing that Z on their helmet. It means a lot to them. And then on the flip side of that, our community does a tremendous job of supporting our program, supporting the athletic department, supporting our school as a whole. And there's really a great relationship there that's a lot of fun to be a part of.
Thank you for the access, man. Looking forward to tonight. We'll talk soon.
Coach, wait, before you go, fix your hair again one more time.
Look at him.
Let's go.
Yes.
Here.
Look at him.
What do you think about that?
Game day,
what do you
baby.
think about that?
Game day. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it, man. Great to see you. Thank you.
You too, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
All right, man. There he is. There he is. My guy. David Brewerton checking in. What does Harold Perkins do for this defense? What does he allow you guys to do?
Yeah, Perk, man, he's just so raw, man. Like, all he know how to do is make a play. But I love him. He brings a certain type of juice to the defense, and he's right alongside of me on the edge. He knows how to rush the edge. As a young guy, that's very valuable to the defense, being able to rush the edge, making the quarterback step up. But yeah, they put him everywhere, middle linebacker, outside rusher, maybe sometimes he's going to be in the drop. So he's very versatile for our defense.
Jesus Christ. That right there is the mail. Now let's talk about the mail. Can we talk about the mail, please, Mac? I'm dying to talk about the mail with you all day, okay? I gotta go up to his office. I gotta put his mail in the guy's goddamn hands.
But they have been asking for their mail on a daily basis. It's all they're talking about up there.
Because the mail never stops. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. There's never a let-up. It's relentless. Every day it piles up more and more and more, and you gotta get it up. And the more you get out, the more it keeps coming in. And then the barcode reader breaks, and it's Publishers Clearinghouse. All right.
I can't believe I'm gonna be a mailman.
I appreciate Jacques for stopping in here on this Wednesday. Remember to hit the like and share button, comment button if you don't mind. Subscribe to YouTube also if you have not been there. If you have any questions, get them in. Now's the time. We'll open up our voicemail segment, 225-229-7741. Any questions you may have, get them in. And you can fire them in a couple of different ways. We got text messages, you can call, or you can just type your question into the chat right here on YouTube with us right here, a part of the Jordy Culotta Show.
Got a text
message.
We have a text message.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
One text message.
Who it is?
It says, it doesn't say who it is.
Okay.
Oh, hold on.
What's the area code?
225.
Okay.
Doesn't say the name. Doesn't never say the name. Just always hashtag mailbag. Who freaks out more when Will Wade is cleared, 40 or old Dick?
Dick.
I doubt that you hear from either of them.
Oh,
Really?
no. Yeah.
You don't think we're going to hear from
You
Dick?
didn't hear from him on Sean Miller.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, but that triggers Dick.
Oh,
Will
yeah.
triggers Dick.
Will makes that dick hard.
that's a lot for that
I
old
was
man.
getting this there.
Yeah, it'll be. They're gonna melt though. I think
Yeah, they
more melt will come from them when they see him on a sideline.
Yeah.
You know, like when he's got a job.
They let this criminal coach basketball again.
I'm done with college. Thank God.
This criminal.
Get
All right,
out of
Dick.
here. Yeah, this criminal.
Thought you were gonna die on the sideline anyway, Dick.
All right, so get involved with us, 225-229-7741. If you've got a question, you can call in, you can text message, you can voicemail, you can get it in and through the chat. So a lot of ways to get involved with us here on the Jordy Culotta Show. That's going to be a hell of an environment that JD's walking into on Sunday with that women's college basketball game. I didn't know that they set 18,000
That's a lot.
in that arena.
Win some basketball games, coach. You get what you want.
What have they done at South Carolina other than the women's?
I know.
I mean, I guess she's been there long enough to build it where they can start to fill that thing up. But if I was, and at some point, I guess LSU is going to have to reconstruct or build a new arena. What's the PMAX at? 15,000? I guess they saw it last week. 15,000, 150 people. I would condense it.
Yeah.
Like I would take seats out and I would make it more comfortable. I mean, it was one thing to be in that arena with 15,000 people. The leg room.
I mean, the leg room is this much.
I mean, come on, man. I am a small dude. You know what I mean? Like, by no means am I, need a lot of room.
Right.
Yeah, but, I mean, you sit down, and, I mean, your knees are in your chest.
At the last game I was at, the guy behind me, literally, I could feel his breath on my shoulder. It's like he could read my text messages.
It's a very uncomfortable arena to play if you're going to be at that caliber. And Mulkey is going to bring people in.
It's weird.
Right?
That
Like
it's
the
still
men's
like
basketball program. The PMAX built for the men's program now. You know what I mean? Like you can have, you can top out at 6,000 people, 7,000 people, and you can just spread out and everybody can kick their legs over the seat in front of them. But I mean, when you're going to put 15,000 people in that place, it's not built well for it.
No, it's not.
Right? I mean, like I get you got all the essentials, but it's not a comfortable experience. It's
it's outdated.
It's very outdated. It's very snug.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's very uncomfortable. You want it to be, I'm telling you, that trip we took to Auburn, even though it was a nightmare of a road trip with the RV and
Ronnie
people throwing up and rants, laid out on the bed the entire time, taking up all the space. One thing that you did get a chance to see was Auburn's arena. And Auburn's arena, in my opinion, is for today's age in entertainment and watching a product on the floor is built to win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're right on top of you. The fans are. They got great, technology, the sound system, the TV, all that stuff is fantastic. All right, have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Oh, you got to turn it down. You got to turn down the volume.
Yeah, you got to
turn down the volume. Listen to us through the phone.
Hello?
Yes. Talk to me through the phone, not through the radio, not through the YouTube. Hello. Hang up, Stewie.
Got it.
Have a take. Don't suck. That sucks.
That was weird, though. He was there.
We got Duke. I don't know. Duke's from Nashville.
Okay.
I was wondering what the Saints plan to do with Turf Toe Thomas. And I'm still working on a way to get those old PMAC seats to you, Jordy.
Ah, nice. Okay, that's my guy. So the Saints they got a decision to make on Mike Thomas because he has a roster bonus that can cost them a ton of money. And, I mean, what has Thomas done to make you believe that you can bet your future on him? I don't know what their plan is going to be. It wouldn't surprise me either way here. I think that there's probably some people within the organizations that's ready to move, but some people probably think they can still get the best out of him. I know that his financial hit is enormous, and that is going to be something that they'll have to judge against. Have a take, don't suck. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Sean from Detroit.
All right, Sean. What's up, big fella? How are you?
Yeah, I'm calling about, did you see the documentary on, I call him Chris Jackson, even though it's
Mahmoud.
It's too many syllables. Mahmoud Farouk.
Yeah, Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Yes.
Man, that was a great documentary.
Stand.
Did you see it?
I did. I watched it all, man. It was named Stand on Showtime. It was fantastic.
We was robbed. In the NBA community, the NBA was robbed out of great talent. But my question is that do you think LSU do enough to celebrate that man's greatness? Because, I know they retired his jersey, but do you think that they do enough for him?
For a long time, I did not. Because of how great he was. Now, I will say over the last couple of years that they have really embraced that, and that they have really put forth the effort to bring him back around. He's a tough person to pin down. I know that. And I also know that retiring his number and putting his name in the rafters meant a tremendous amount to him. So hopefully that will be the line that kind of opens up a better relationship between Mahmoud and LSU basketball. But I know that it's been repaired greatly over the last couple of years, and hopefully they can keep that up because anybody who's listened to me on radio or on this platform know that he's the best. He's my all-time favorite. Growing up when I was a kid, watching him play was something that I still remember, and those clips and watching that Showtime documentary just takes you back to a place where I guess you knew what you were watching, but we didn't know what we were watching. I mean, he was so far ahead of his time and was just incredible with a basketball. I mean, some of those high school highlights of him, those are some of the things I didn't know. That he was filling up gyms his junior year all over the Southeast because of just what type of phenom he was. And he was absolutely Steph Curry before Steph Curry. I mean, he had the quickest trigger. He was the best ball handler, and he was incredible, man. And for what he was blackballed for, because he was blackballed. If you watch that documentary, you can see it. It's just it's painful to watch, man. It's painful to watch knowing that he lost his prime years, battling and trying to figure out where he fit in. And I mean, he's still in that 3-on-3 stuff. The way he can shoot, ball handle, and play is, you still get a taste of it, but wouldn't you have loved to have seen it when he was 26 to 33?
But you know what? That brings me to my last statement. When you talk about Dale Brown, you gotta keep him. Mm-hmm. You gotta give that man some more flowers because he was a rock star by putting that team together with Stanley Roberts, Shaquille and Chris Jackson. I mean, that was like you win LV in the '90s. I mean, come on. I mean, he didn't win like he's supposed to win, but he had us on a map in that time period. And like I said, man, so Dale Brown, even though he wasn't for X's and O's, he could get those guys. He could fill those seats. He could fill those seats up. So you definitely got to keep a Dale Brown court for sure. So thank you for taking my call. I hope you have a great day. Y'all take care.
Always, man. Thank you for listening up there in Detroit, and thank you for interacting with us. And look, he's right. There's no denying what Dale Brown meant to the history of LSU basketball. I think that's a double-edged, argument right there of, yeah, he was the one that brought in, Chris Jackson at the time, Stanley Roberts, Shaquille O'Neal, Vernell Singleton, Maurice Williamson, Jamie Brandon. I mean, he
recruited all of them?
All those guys. He had them on the same team.
I mean, I know, but he recruited all of them?
Yes.
Wow.
And I mean, look, Dale Brown was doing what he had to do to get those people on campus during that time. Mm-hmm. And he was going up against the usual suspects, He was going up against Roy Williams. He was
Yeah.
going up against Krzyzewski. He was going up against all of the people at the time that were trying to win. Dean
Right.
Smith at North Carolina. I
Mhm.
mean, there were people that were trying to come in here, take players, and, get kids out from underneath Brown. And he had to do what he had to do
Yeah.
to make it relevant. And he did an incredible job. But in the same sense, like our caller said, he didn't win like he was supposed to.
Right.
Well, that's what it takes to get
Mhm.
a court named after you, in my opinion. Where, look, it's one thing to be a great promoter. He is a master promoter. It's one thing to get players. He was a great recruiter.
Mhm.
You got to win.
Right.
You got to win. And 25 years in one place is a lot of wins, but where are the true meaningful ones? Appreciate you getting involved with us. If you have a take, don't suck, 225-229-7741. You can always text into the show. You can comment on the show on our chat and get involved. So we will look forward to today. What's today? Wednesday?
Today is Wednesday.
I don't know if this is Hunter Hall or not, but sent us a text message. It says, my favorite part about Auburn's arena is when you beat their ass, you get to watch them file out of there in a single file line on row 1.
What's the area code?
205.
Okay.
And it says, thanks for taking my calls and texts on this fine YouTube channel.
It's probably Hunter Hall then.
Thank you. Auburn has a great basketball arena. They really do. They do it right over there.
Oh, he said that wasn't me.
Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Remember, Mic'd Up today, as they will have a lot of baseball insight for you Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 4:30 to 6 on Fridays and 6 to 8 o'clock on Monday and Wednesday. Nick Diaz and Out of My League coming up at 3 o'clock this afternoon as well. Make sure you are subscribed and all tightened up on their YouTube and social media as well. Have a great day. Go Chevrolet drives us. For the Carpool Queen and Stewie, we'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.